besties, welcome back to my channel. I've been trying to film this intro for the past like 5 minutes. It's been like literally 1 week of not filming and I'm already like this. But okay, hi, welcome back. I know I've been kind of MIA this week, but I took a little break because of the holiday season has been crazy. Sorry if my voice is a little rusty, but here we are. Today, I'm gonna be talking about all the Booktok books that I think are worth the hype. So yeah, that's gonna be the video for today. Thank you all so much for coming back and watching the video. If you want to watch more, subscribe down below and turn on the notification bell so you get notified when I upload more videos. I honestly don't have an uploading schedule right now, so turning on the notification bell is going to be very helpful. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So the first book that I'm going to be talking about that I think is honestly worth the hype if you like certain tropes. But this book literally like won a prize on Goodreads or something like of the year, so it's very popular, and that is thanks to Booktok. So this is The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. And okay, you probably are gonna like this book if you like certain tropes, because not everyone is gonna like this book or the books that I recommend, you know? But let me tell you, this book is a co-workers, enemies to lovers, slow burn. It also has the one bed trope, which I love. But the thing is that this book is kind of chunky, so it is a slow burn. So you kind of need to wait for it, and if you don't like slow burns, I'm probably guessing you're not gonna like this book. But I always say, give the book a try. If you didn't like it, you didn't like it, it's okay. But you know that I don't like slow burns. But I honestly was very surprised when I read the book because, okay, I have to be honest, I was reading the book and I was like okay, it's good, nothing from another world. But when I got to like, I think half of the book till the ending, it got really good. I was like hooked and I was so surprised. This is the first one that I think is honestly worth it if you like those tropes. So the next book that I'm going to be talking about is by Taylor Jenkins Reid, very popular on Booktok. This is Daisy Jones and the Six. I'm going to talk about the Seven Husbands in a little bit, but first let's talk about this one. So this book is it's a roller coaster of a book, honestly. I do want to like put out trigger warnings because always look up trigger warnings for each book. I always say this because some of my trigger warnings may not be the same as yours, so I don't really like saying trigger warnings because I don't really know each one, you know? So everyone is different. Look up trigger warnings, but this book talks a lot about like hard drugs, just so you keep in mind. But this book starts out with the main character, which is Daisy Jones, and what I love about this book is the writing style. So this book is basically written as if a journalist is interviewing a bunch of the book characters. The entire book is sections of interviews, so that is what I loved. I never got bored. Honestly, 10 out of 10, that part. And it kind of all comes together at the end of the book, because when I first started reading I was so confused because I honestly had no idea if the story was real or not, because if you read the book you're gonna see. But it's honestly so freaking good. The story starts with Daisy Jones and like her life with her interviews and how she tells the story of her life, and then it hops to The Six, which The Six is a band of 6 people, and it's also interviews of those people. It's a whole bunch of things, and at one point in the book Daisy Jones and the Six come together, so that is where the actual story starts. 100% recommend this book. I think it's worth all the hype. So let's talk about The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, because I think that's I think that's the most hyped up book by Taylor Jenkins Reid on Booktok. If you follow me, you know that I loved this book. It's more of like a mature book, I would say, has more of like mature topics, but I think the book is really important overall. It talks about love, friendship, queerness, like the history of queerness and feminism, and it's just a bunch of really important topics that I loved. But yeah, that is also a book that I recommend that I honestly think is worth the hype. Okay, let's change up the genre a little bit and let's talk about a fantasy book. This is Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco, and oh my gosh, I read this book recently. Like, I recently read this book like 2 weeks ago, and when I tell you I started this book, I don't know, at like 5 p.m. one day, and I finished it the next day. This book is really good. Like, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I picked up this book because I saw the books I loved on Booktok rave about this book. This is one of her favorite books, so I decided, like, okay, I'm gonna pick it up and like see what the book is about, and I was kind of like in a fantasy mood. You guys, it's worth the hype. I get it now. Like, it's worth the freaking hype. If you're really into fantasy, this is gonna be the perfect book for you. Two sisters, twins, one brutal murder, a quest for vengeance that will unleash hell itself, and an intoxicating romance. So, the book is about the two sisters. They are witches, and one of the sisters is murdered, so the other sister does everything in her power to find out who murdered her twin. But yeah, if you like fantasy, read the book. It has a little bit of romance, enemies to lovers, kind of slow burn. Okay, so the next book I wouldn't say is like really popular in Booktok yet, because it's kind of like a recent popular book. So this is You've Reached Sam by Dustin Thau. Honestly, this is one of the saddest but most beautiful books I've ever read in my entire life. I read this book in one sitting. Sad but amazing, okay? This book talks a lot about grief. I'm gonna read a review that's on the back of the book because it's honestly like the best explanation for the book. You've Reached Sam is a hauntingly remarkable debut. Dustin Thau gently weaves grief, regret, second chances, and the honestly beautiful moments we carry from a first love. Every tear you shed reading this book will be worth it. Yes, I 100% agree with this review. Honestly, do recommend it so much. Go read it. Okay, the next book that I'm going to talk about is my favorite book of all time. And I've talked about this book so many times now. This is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I know the most hyped up book by Colleen Hoover is It Ends With Us, which I think it is worth the hype. Both are worth the hype, but this is my favorite book. This is a friends with benefits to lovers, grumpy sunshine, brother's best friend, neighbor, all that kind of stuff. And I honestly think it's so worth it. You're probably gonna cry with this book. I honestly don't have to talk about this book anymore. You guys just know that I love that book, and I'm always going to recommend it. So please go read the book. Like, yeah. The next book that I'm gonna talk about is by Christina Lauren, and this is Love in Other Words. This is one of my favorite books by these authors. Amazing. This is a childhood best friends to lovers with a then and now perspective. Huge plot twist that you don't see coming. It's just really so cute. It's just amazing. I've talked about this book also in so many videos, so I'm just gonna say go read the book. It's just so worth it. Trust my opinion. I hope you like it because it's honestly really good. Okay, I have 3 books left that I've also talked so much about. So the next book is The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. This is part of a series. This is the first book. Then comes The Bright Test, and then The Heart Principle. So I've only read the first book, this one, but honestly, what I loved about this book is how different it is. It's just so different from other romance books I've read. It's so good. I was just so shocked reading the book. I was like, what in the world? I did not see this coming. So different, but so good. A heartwarming and refreshing debut novel that proves one thing: there's not enough data in the world to predict what will make your heart tick. It is spicy, it is cute. I love the couple, the writing style is amazing. Yes. Okay, so this next book, Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. I always say this, but this is one of the most beautiful books I've ever read. It's just, the writing is beautiful, the story is beautiful, so different, it's cute, it has spice. Last few pages, I cried my eyes out because I was like so shocked, but so worth it. Okay, so worth it. I loved the ending. the entire story is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. The next book that I'm going to talk about is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. I wanted to put this book in here because this is one of the best spicy books I've ever read. It's kind of like that contemporary spicy book I want to read. Obviously, I pre-ordered the second book, which is Hook, Line, and Sinker. All of you guys that have read the book, like from ARCs or something like that, have said that Hook, Line, and Sinker is so much better than this one. And I'm like, okay, like I want to read it. Like, honestly, this book is worth the hype. The spice is there. The discreet cover is there. I do have to say the ending was not my favorite. It does have a happy ending. It wasn't my favorite. But other than that, I loved the book, the writing, the spice, the story. Okay, and the last two books that I want to mention, and not so much talk about because I've honestly talked about these books in so many videos now, like Ugly Love, so many videos. These are first the Twisted series by Anna Huang. Next series is To Love Jason Thorne and to Hate Adam Connor, 10 out of 10. But yeah, I wanted to mention these books because honestly they're so worth it. But yeah, those are all my recommendations. I know I've talked about a lot of these books in other videos, but I wanted to make this video because not all like Booktok books are worth the hype, in my opinion. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you all for being here again. I know I took a break, but I honestly needed it. But yeah, I'm working on other videos. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you got some new book recommendations. If you want more videos, make sure to subscribe down below and turn on the notification bell so you get notified when I upload more videos. And I will see you in my next video. I love you. Bye.
Oh, corks and bottles, ready to pop out. Oh, no more crying. We are knocking out another year of new loves.